Hey there, I'm Kelly Thinkowski, and today we're shining the spotlight on bills passing through the Virginia Assembly this season. Joining me this morning is Delegate Phil Hernandez, who represents the city of Norfolk in the House of Delegates. Delegate, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me this morning. How are you today?
I'm doing well. I really appreciate the opportunity to connect with you. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Well, let's just jump right into it. So you are the chief patron of House Bill 602, which would expand open captioning in Virginia's movie theaters. What inspired you to prioritize this accessibility bill?
Well, I've long been an advocate for disability rights, going way back before I was elected to this office. A lot of folks may not know. So, my sister was born deaf, and so I grew up learning and becoming fluent in American Sign Language and have lots of memories actually with her when we were kids going to movie theaters, only to find out that. Uh, Notwithstanding the Americans with Disabilities Act, there was no real easy way for her to easily understand the movies in the same way that when you're watching television at home, there's closed captioning. So I have lived this problem, but more recently, last year, some advocates in the deaf community reached out about this bill that would require movie theaters to have a certain number of showings with the captions on the screen, and I loved it immediately. And so I was like, yes, let's figure out a way to work on this and bring it forward this year. And so that was sort of the beginning of the story. And here we are now pushing this legislation forward.
Good. And I know it's currently in a committee, so we're still waiting to find out if it's going to pass forward. What kind of challenges or opposition would you anticipate for a bill like this?
Well, one of the good things so far is that there's been a tremendous amount of support for this. I suspect it's, obviously for the deaf and the hard of hearing community, it's really important. But I think what people also forget sometimes is seniors, right, are going to benefit from this. Children and reading and literacy, it's also been shown to help that as well. So there's a lot of different communities actually who would be interested in this. All to say, I've received a lot of excitement about this bill all across Virginia. I've really enjoyed reading the emails and the letters that have come in about this bill. And I will say, to their credit, the movie theater sort of association reached out about this bill. And so we had a conversation maybe about 2 weeks ago at this point, and they were very collaborative. They were very open to the bill. We worked on a couple of technical amendments, but they're not opposed to it. So, you never know until it's all said and done around here, but I do feel cautiously optimistic. There's also an identical bill that's moving forward in the Senate, and that one's already a little bit further along. And so my hope is that, we'll be able to bring the bills together, send them to the governor's desk, and that Abigail Spanberger would sign it into law.
Good. I do want to point out one of the things I noticed in the bill, the language is not saying every single movie of every single film, every showing has to have captions on the screen. They're asking for a set number.
That's right. And it's really based on the experience of other states and the laws that they have already passed that are similar. So, for example, Washington State has a law that we very closely followed for our bill here. And, for the larger theaters and in the bill that's defined as five or more screens, then you have to have a certain number of showings in the first couple of weeks. And then for the smaller theaters that, maybe the more mom and pop type places, then really it's just by request that you can ask for this. So it's a pretty reasonable bill overall and based on successes in other states. And hopefully Virginia can join those states of laws that uh, care about these communities that want to be able to enjoy a movie and want to be able to do it in a way that doesn't require them to jump through all sorts of hoops or navigate complicated technology. They can just go see it.
Absolutely. And you mentioned some complicated technology. Has your sister tried the current thing where you can put on the glasses or the things that fit in cup holders? Have you had experience with those?
So I think she probably tried those before. I've heard a ton of stories from people, and mostly they're frustrated stories about the technology not being available, or it doesn't work, or there's no batteries, or the staff isn't trained on it. And not to say that some theaters aren't doing what they're supposed to do and giving people a good experience, but I think what's nice about this is it makes it automatic. You can just go and see when there's an open caption showing. You don't have to make any special requests. You don't have to ask for anything unique for you. you can just go with your family and your friends and watch a movie. And there's, sometimes in this building, we talk about big, complicated things, energy policy, tax policy. Sometimes it's just about the little simple things in life, like enjoying a movie, and there's value in that too. So that's what this.
Absolutely. And it's a relatively small change. It's the technology is already out there. So it seems simple enough. And I think it's a really important voice that you're giving to the deaf and hearing impaired in Virginia. And like you said, folks who are working on language development, children and seniors who just need a little help with that captioning.
It's funny. I mean, I remember talking to several, me groups of people in my district before session started, and none of whom were deaf, but some of them were seniors. And the way that they lit up when I started talking about this bill, and it really was just a reminder to me that there are so many groups out there that will benefit from this. And I came across a statistic that showed basically a ton of people at home when they're just watching TV watch with closed captions anyway. And when we're in restaurants or you see a TV out in the public, a lot of times that has captions on screen. So I don't think it's a big change for people. We're kind of used to this, but we just haven't sort of caught up to it in a movie theater context, and that's what the bill will fix.
Absolutely. Well, I wish you and the bill the best of luck moving forward. Hopefully you and your sister will be at the movie theater soon and you'll both be able to enjoy it equally.
Well, my hope is we'll get this bill all the way through, and then we'll have a big signing ceremony, maybe at a movie theater somewhere in Virginia, have the governor come through, have a bunch of deaf kids and families, and, have a big celebration. So that's my dream. I got a lot of work before that happens, but like I can see it and I'm working toward it.
Absolutely. You gotta have popcorn though. If you're gonna do a movie theater, you need the movie theater popcorn, right?
Yes.
Well, I want to thank you so much, Delegate Hernandez, for taking the time to talk to me today. I'm Kelly Sinkowski. This is In the Spotlight, and today we focus on House Bill 602 for open captioning in movie theaters. Take care and have a great day.